Hey guys, welcome back to the Motion Raceworks YouTube channel. Today we're doing another Tech Tip Tuesday, and today we are talking about fuel filters and the importance of changing your fuel filter often. Hey guys, before today's video starts, I would love to give a quick shout out to our newest division, FluidWorks. It is going to handle all of our oil, fuel, and water flow components that we are starting to manufacture and engineer and design in-house. Everything from fuel filters to regulators to specialty fittings to oil pumps and to oil drives and fuel pump drives and everything else in between. They're all on our website. We have a lot of cool new designs that are going to save you fittings, make building your car easier, cleaner, and better. And we're really excited to make these right here in DeWitt, Iowa. All right, back to today's Tech Tip Tuesday. So as you may or may not know, there's a couple different style fuel filters. There are stainless element, there are paper element, and microglass, which is very similar to a fiberglass. Typically on fuel systems, on the pre-filter side of things, we will run 100 micron. And that means that 100 micron particle is being stopped by it. The smaller that number, the smaller it catches. So 100 micron has a lot bigger openings in the pores of the stainless pleat, if you will. The reason why we run 100 micron on the pre-filter side, aka bigger, so it flows more, is that we do not want to starve the pump. A lot of times your fuel pump is limited by how much fuel can get to the pump as much as it is how powerful the pump is. If you starve it on the inlet side, it surely isn't going to make it on the outside. That affects not only performance, but durability. A dry pump is going to cavitate a lot, and a lot of times they'll prematurely fail, heat up, and all that type of stuff. So for the pre-filter, 100 micron, we find that is acceptable across the board. There's no need to go any smaller than that. The nice thing about that is it allows you to run a stainless style element. These are cleanable. You can clean them in a variety of ways, but you don't have to rebuy these. Once you buy them, for the most part, you are absolutely good. The only situation you might have to rebuy them is if you undersize your pre-filter in terms of filter size, and they can collapse. So two reasons why your pre-filter might collapse. If you haven't cleaned it lately, it is going to be full of stuff, which basically limits the pores from being able to flow through the filter. And that's going to cause the pump in front of it or after it to suck the filter shut. The similar thing can happen if you run too big of a pump and too small of a filter. Not necessarily too big of a pump, but too small of a filter for any given pump. Typically, it won't collapse right away. Sometimes the pump fails before the filter collapses, but oftentimes if you have a powerful enough pump, it'll actually suck this filter into a distorted, collapsed type of way. So pre-filters, honestly, the best way to clean a pre-filter with 100 micron stainless element is to put it in some type of ultrasonic. But if I'm being honest with you, I've used brake clean and other solvents plenty of times. You just need to make sure that you get that solvent off. Obviously, a car can run on brake cleaner and stuff, but you got to think about what you're contaminating it with, and do you want that to make it further down the line. On to post filters. So post filters, the main goal of a post filter is to catch all of the debris that may have come from your tank, the degradation of your pump, the degradation of your lines, before it makes it into your fuel injectors. Obviously, the spray nozzle on a fuel injector is very small. The inlet flow nozzle, if you will, orifice, is very small as well. So small particulate can have a huge impact on the performance of an injector. When we talk about injectors, we go to great lengths, and injector companies go to great lengths to balance injectors as perfectly and close as possible from cylinder to cylinder. We try to get like within 0.5 or 1% of flow from one hole to the next. So that's really important when you start to think about, if I start to clog this thing, what's the problem? So that's why most injector companies will recommend a 10 micron filter. Now, a 10 micron filter is constructed differently than a pre-filter that is a stainless element 100 micron. And the reason being is you're making very small pores for the fuel to flow through, 10 micron. Any smaller than 10 micron is not really measurable in terms of being able to be consistent with the type of material we use for filters. So that's the reason why you will typically only see a 10 micron filter. Now, there are stainless 10 micron filters, but the problem that you run into with that type of filter is it becomes very difficult to accurately and consistently clean them. Also, the steel elements, when they're 10 micron, become very inconsistent, whereas a microglass we have found to be a lot more consistent in terms of being 10 micron, not 4, not 12, We want it to be close. I know when you're talking about the micron of the filter, it is an average of all of the flow through it. So you're going to have a little bit of highs and lows. But the problem with a stainless filter in this position is it's hard to do that. You're thinking about little wires that are going. So what's different about a post filter that's microglass? It's very akin to a fiberglass type of material. So its construction is very fiberglass-ish. So when debris gets into this, it's not coming back out. There's no successful way that we have found to reliably remove the contaminant. So for those reasons, your post filter is not serviceable. Now this is something that we talk about often. People often forget about it, and typically you'll start to see it on the tune. Your injectors will be compensating, staying open longer for the same given tune-up. But this is something that you really want to get in the habit of changing. So there's two great times, at least in my opinion, to change your filter, though you cannot really change it too much in that sense. Obviously, people use them different amounts. How dirty and what type of fuel you're using can also affect it. Typically, if it's a new fuel system or new fuel lines, I say as soon as you start that thing up and fire it and run it, warm it up, check oil pressure, take the filter out and change it. Definitely before the first dyno day, at least in my opinion, because the dirtiest your fuel system is ever going to be is the first time you put it together. All the stuff from storing it in warehouses, like all your lines and fittings, the manufacturing process, the pump breaking in, it's all a very dirty process. So this is going to catch a lot of dirt and contaminant right off the bat. From there, what I typically recommend is change it every 6 months. This is a practice I've been doing for years. If you go too long, you can definitely start to see it, especially depending on how much you race. And like I said earlier, it depends what you're using. Pump gas is very dirty. Your pump gas tanks just get very dirty. That's going to obviously speed things up. If you have an open breather line that somehow can suck in dirt and stuff. So get in a habit of changing it, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, depending on how much you race. This one really gets overlooked often and will start to wear on your pump. It'll start to cause tuning issues where the fuel's trying to compensate for it, especially if you have a fuel system that's kind of borderline too small for things. With that being said, all of these replacement filters are listed on our website for all of our different size filter housings. We now have 3 size housings, one filter that will flow up to 5 gallon a minute, one that will flow up to 12 gallons a minute, and then one that will flow up to 32 gallons a minute, pre and post. So we have those options out there for you now. And so if you haven't seen our filters, we released last year a up to 12 gallon a minute filter for pre and post. We have a variety of different orifice. So we have single in, single out, but we also have dual in, single out. We have single in, dual out, and a variety of combinations. That way you can basically avoid the Y's in your fuel system and simplify plumbing, make packaging tighter, make it a lot cleaner. They have a built-in mount. Shameless plug, we now have them for 3 sizes, so check them out on our website. These are all made in-house on our machines. They use a made in the USA filter element. They're just a very nice piece, and I think it creates a more usable fuel filter that's easier to mount, easier to plumb, and it's just a great option for your fuel system. What I suggest is grabbing an extra 1 or 2 of these and sticking them in the cabinet. Like if something has to come apart on the fuel system, that's when I'll change it. And if not, I'll do it every 6 months. But you don't want to get caught without it, especially if you have a big race coming. It's a good maintenance item, just like an oil filter. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully my explanation of pre and post filters, as well as how to change and clean fuel filters and what type of frequency is helpful to you. If you have a system that you've put together within the last year, might be a good time to check it out. Grab yourself a replacement post filter, clean out your pre-filter, and keep on rocking. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. We'd love to have you on the channel. We make a pretty big effort to put out these Tech Tip Tuesday videos frequently. We're just sharing knowledge that we've learned over the years from partners in the industry, through our own racing, through our own building of cars, and it's all free to you guys. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next time.